First of all, I want to congratulate you for making the first step to home ownership. Maybe this is your first home, maybe you bought a home in the past. It doesn't matter. The process can be complex and scary. And now more than ever, it's so important that you educate yourself so that you can select the right home in the right neighborhood, but also the right type of financing for you and your family. My name is Patty Contrasto and I'm broker at Boxwood Mortgage. I started my career when I was 19 years old and bought my first property when I was 20. I've seen so many different scenarios and have overcome so many different challenges for families that are exactly in the same situation that you are in today. I would love to help you with this process. The next most important step in this process is to get pre-approved. But before you start filling out any paperwork or providing any documentation, we recommend that you set up an interview with your loan officer or loan originator so that they can understand your goals in connection to this purchase. They will also want to know where you are in terms of income, credit, debts or liabilities, and work history. When you begin your process, you're going to fill out an application and provide very standard documentation such as 2 years of tax returns with W-2s or 1099s. If you're a W-2 employee, you're going to want to turn in your 30-day most recent paycheck stubs, 2-month of bank statements, and any other investment account or retirement account that you may have. And if you're not a citizen, you are to provide your work visa and or work authorization card. Once your loan originator evaluates everything, they should be able to look at every possible product that you qualify for. As a first-time home buyer, there are programs out there that only require 3% down payment or 3.5% down payment. Loans like conventional loans for first-time home buyer or FHA loans that are government-sponsored that also have very low down payments. Both of these products are the most common loans out there for first-time home buyers, and both of them offer fixed interest rates, no prepayment penalties, which means you can pay off the loan faster and or pay extra towards your principal, and they both offer the ability for you to include in your monthly payment the cost for your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes so that you only have to worry about one payment. When you receive your pre-approval letter, you should also review a document called the Closing Cost Worksheet. This document is going to contain very important information that you're going to want to know before you start looking at property, such as closing cost, down payment, and monthly payment, including taxes, insurance, homeowners association fees if applicable, and mortgage insurance. Why it's so important to have this document before you select a home? Because this is going to set the expectation for closing in terms of how much money you're going to need to have at closing, but also what that monthly payment is going to be. At this point, we do recommend that you do interview with your agent because you now have clarity as to what price point you want to stay within. In that interview, your agent is going to want to learn everything about you, where you want to live, what's important for you and your family, what school district you want to be, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how big of a yard or small yard, etc. And then the fun begins. Once you've found a home and the offer has been accepted, you're going to turn in 2 checks, and your agent is going to cover this with you as well. These 2 checks are called earnest money deposit and option fee. During the option fee, you're going to want to do your inspections. Assuming that you've done all the inspections on the property that you desire to do and everything looks good with the property, this is the part where you and I get together again and you provide a copy of the contract so that we can initiate the actual loan process. With that contract, we're going to grab all the terms of that contract, such as the closing date, your earnest money deposit, the option fee, sales price, down payment, and we're going to establish the loan and select the interest rate that you're going to have for the next potential 30 years. Once we get all your documentation updated, we submit that loan through an underwriter. I like to say that the underwriter is almost like the judge, and I'm the attorney that's going to represent you in court, and we're going to present your case so that that judge can say, approved and ready to close. Once the judge or the underwriter approves your loan, there may be additional conditions that the underwriter is going to want, and you and I are going to work together to gather those documents, submit them, so that we can get what we call a clear to close. Once we get the clear to close, Your agent will come together again, and you guys are going to go and look at the property to make sure that the property is being turned in exactly how you expect. And once that walkthrough happens, then we can set up the closing. At the closing table, you're expected to bring the money for the down payment and the closing cost, and you will have the ability to review all your documents within 24 hours prior to that closing so that you can make sure that you understand what those final monthly payments are going to be, but also that cash to close. At closing, you're to bring a photo ID and your spouse, if applicable. Once you finish signing all the documents and the seller has also signed all their portion, we're going to initiate the process of funding. The funding is basically the exchange of keys and money. Once the seller has signed and the buyer has signed, we exchange the money and the keys, and you get to go home and celebrate.